Hi everyone, Dr. Roof here. Just a little clarification for anybody who needs it on the discrepancy analysis assignment. So the purpose of this assignment is to consciously compare and contrast the social behavior of typically developing peers with your target student. So why would we want to do this? We've already done an assessment. Why would we want to observe peers? I can already see my student has a deficit, you might say. Well, the answer to this question, to this why question, is that peers are really important in terms of social skills. We want to see how they, not we, would perform the wanted social skill. And also, you know, there might be possibilities of actually enlisting their help. So how to do this? I don't think there's any one right way, but I'm going to suggest one way. So don't think that if you didn't do it exactly this way that you've gone awry or in error or that you have to do it again. But this is one typical way. So observe your target student and a typically developing peer side by side at the same time. For example, in a push-in classroom, or if your student is included. And then you can just watch classroom behavior, the way the teacher interacts with the typically developing peers, the way the teacher interacts with your target student, the way the peers interact with each other, and so forth and so on. So that's one way, but it may not be possible for you. So a second way would be to observe your target student and typical peers, one or more, doesn't have to be the same one, could be different ones, in a typical setting. And you would do that separately. So, for example, entering the classroom in the morning or in at a particular time of day or a particular place. I would suggest limiting it instead of watching peers at recess and then watching your student in the classroom. Watch them both at recess or watch them both in the classroom. So let me give you some examples. Typically developing, here's an entering the classroom example. Your typically developing peer enters the classroom, walks up to a classmate, maintains socially appropriate distance, 18 to 24 inches, makes eye contact, and greets the peer or responds to a peer greeting, either verbally or non-verbally. Then you would, you can watch one or more students entering the class and synthesize basically what they do, because they're going to do different things. Some of them may greet students using words, and they may use different words, and some of them may do fist bumps or whatever. So the best way that you can synthesize the totality of what those peers are doing, the better, because there may be more than one option for your student in terms of entering the classroom appropriately. So your student then may enter the classroom. He may walk up to classmates, but perhaps he doesn't maintain an appropriate social distance. Maybe he's in their face, or maybe he's grabbing them or trying to get attention in some inappropriate way. Okay, so that would be one example. You would take notes of how the target student and the typically developing student perform this social skill. So another example might involve getting off the bus. So a typically developing peer might say goodbye to the driver, might not, I don't know. You have to look and see what they do when they get off the bus. Disembarks the bus, sees the teacher or an aide, greets the teacher or the aide, or responds to a teacher or an aide greeting. You're typically developing your target student might or might not say goodbye to the driver, will get off the bus most likely, make eye contact with the teacher or the aide, see the teacher or the aide, but may not greet the teacher or the aide. So that may be a discrepancy that you see. So basically what we're doing in this assignment is we've filled out already a social skills assessment based upon what the teacher has seen over time. And now we're kind of validating some things by actually direct observation of the student. So, you know, in terms of presenting this, I suggested that you use a form something like this to do this. And again, I think it would be helpful if you just targeted a particular time and a particular place to do these observations. So I think that this is a skill that we need to develop, and we need to really see what these typically developing kids are doing, because in our eyes it may or may not be appropriate, right? We want our kids, our targeted kids, to develop relationships and learn appropriate social behavior, quote unquote, from their typically developing peers. So that's the point of this assignment. If you got that, great. All right. See you soon.